the rise in Silent Hill interest, maybe the word interest I will use loosely here, due to the hard reboot that Konami announced back in 2022, I thought it would be worth exploring the last time that fans of this iconic franchise got their hopes up. Thanks to a suggestion from user @JealousGirl, I've decided that I'm going to cover the now legendary PT, which once Jealous Girl suggested this to me, I realized that this year it's turning 10 years old, which I think is crazy. For those who may not be aware, PT, or playable teaser, was a 30-minute, well, playable teaser for the never created full-length game Silent Hills. Now, PT dropped only 2 years after the last mainline game, Silent Hill Downpour, so fans weren't quite as ravenous for new Silent Hill content as they were in the past couple of years, but the team behind PT is what made this such a huge deal. Silent Hills was set to be directed by video game titan Hideo Kojima and legendary filmmaker Guillermo del Toro. Because these two huge legendary creatives were attached to this project, gave fans hope that the series could return to its roots of being plot-driven with real freaky-ass horror. While I have openly stated before I am a Silent Hill Homecoming and Silent Hill Downpour defender, I can understand why PT and the thought of Silent Hills felt like a breath of fresh air for fans who wanted it to return to the Team Silent era. As we reflect upon this gem of a teaser 10 years later, we'll look at its history, what it was all about, the eventual downfall of Silent Hills, and the impact that PT has had on both Silent Hill and survival horror on the whole. Hello, my name is Glitchwitch, .jpg, but you can just call me Glitchwitch. I need to just drop the .jpg at this point, honestly. I'm just Glitchwitch. I make videos about internet horror, typically analog and digital horror and creepypastas and internet urban legends, but I do dabble specifically in Silent Hill every now and again. I say I dabble in survival horror. I really just dabble in Silent Hill. I've been very open in the past, in previous videos, about being a relatively newer Silent Hill fan. I started playing the games in 2021 because I never had access to them until 2021. My husband and I, he grew up with the series. We bought a used Xbox 360 so that we could play the games, me for the first time, him revisiting them again. And, you know, due to this, I'm going to be transparent with you. I never got to play PT. I didn't. It was not accessible to me at the time. I was not a gamer at the time. However, I was into horror movies when PT came out, and I watched a playthrough when it came out and when the buzz was huge because I was and still am a fan of Guillermo del Toro, so I was really into the idea of a filmmaker directing a video game. And Silent Hill was a franchise that I've always been fascinated by just because it was such a big part of the horror landscape for, you know, the older Zoomers, younger millennials like myself. I was sold on this even if I didn't think I would ever actually play the game. I thought the idea was interesting. And for anyone who thinks I shouldn't cover this because I have not played it, I raise you 2 points. Number one, were great modern Roman scholars there when the Roman Empire fell? No, they weren't. And yes, talking shit on the internet is equal to getting a PhD in ancient history. Didn't you know? And two, it's poetic to have a Silent Hill fan talking for an hour about a Silent Hill game they never played, because so many Silent Hill fans have never played the game because they're so goddamn inaccessible. I wanted to make this video because I haven't interacted with PT since I actually became a fan of the series. And I've also really gotten into Hideo Kojima recently, started playing the Metal Gear Solid series. I am in love with it. And yes, I am in love with the entire series, not just Metal Gear Solid 5's rendition of Revolver Ocelot. Who, if you are free on Thursday, Revolver Ocelot, call me, please, if you are free. I am free. We can hang out.
You stink.
introduction done. Let's get into it. God. I got so worked up about it over Ocelot that I had my nail fell off. So I'm gluing it back on. I'm not beating the Konami shill allegations. For those who don't know, someone accused me in my Silent Hill 2 remake Give It a Chance video of being a shill for Konami. I'm not beating the allegations. I will be by the end of this video. Let's do some history. I don't want to get too deep into Silent Hill history, but I do want to kind of lay the groundwork for a timeline of the series before we get into PT. I promise I'm not going to wax poetic about the entire franchise for 8 hours. No one needs that. Silent Hill, the first game, just called Silent Hill, was released by Konami in 1999, helmed by a group of developers who would later be known as Team Silent. Team Silent returned in 2001 for Silent Hill 2, which is widely regarded as one of the greatest survival horror games ever made. This was followed right after by Silent Hill 3 in 2003 and Silent Hill 4 in 2004. Those two are easy to remember what year they came out because it's in the name. 1 through 4 would be the only games made by the original Team Silent, and thus are considered by many to be the 4 real games, although some people don't like 4 and don't like to include it. It's my favorite video game ever, so I include it. Silent Hill 4 was followed by Silent Hill Origins in 2007, Silent Hill Homecoming in 2008, and Silent Hill Downpour in 2012. So I do want to quickly thank IGN. They have multiple articles that allowed me to really piece both the PT and Silent Hills timeline together and the Kojima Konami fallout together. So invaluable source. Thank you very much, IGN. Let's get into this. In 2014, Sony announced PT via a teaser trailer at a Gamescom event. A teaser for a teaser sounds a little funny, but I get what they were going for.
Watch out, the gap in the door. It's a separate reality. The only me is me. Are you sure the only you is you?
This teaser and press release did not mention anything to do with Silent Hill, and fans didn't know the association until they completed the entire playable teaser, which ended with the bombshell of it being a Kojima and Del Toro helmed Silent Hill game called Silent Hills, starring famed actor Norman Reedus. So that was a lot. That was a lot to get hit with. And of course, this information spread like wildfire. There were probably very few fans who actually got the surprise of that because it went, once people played it, it went online and everyone knew about it. After the reveal was widespread and everyone knew, the game was formally announced as a Kojima Productions game that would run on the Fox engine that is hilariously utilized only by Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain and its little prequel game, Ground Zeroes, PT, and then a whole lot of Pro Evolution Soccer games. I don't know. Fox Engine's really cool. I really like Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain, and I think that like this could have been really big for Konami and Kojima, but of course they f***ed it all up. I think it's very similar to like the RE engine the Capcom has, and they had it before they had that, but once again, Konami can't do anything. So the reaction to PT was obviously huge, and in the first month of its release, it had been downloaded over 1 million times. This thing was huge. Kojima further teased Silent Hills with a 2-minute cinematic trailer, further legitimizing the game to come. And this I really remember specifically. I think the trailer is what I saw first and then went and watched the playthrough at the time. And I'm sure like Bloody Disgusting and like places like that were talking about it.
コンセプトムービーと書いてありました。これ初公開です。これ初公開。公開するつもりもなかったんですけど。あ、そうなんですね。
point, there was no reason to doubt that this game was going to come out and bring Silent Hill back to the forefront of gaming, and really just bring survival horror back to the forefront of gaming. But just a year later, not even a whole year later, Konami would do what it does best. Things up. In March of 2015, rumors started to circulate that Kojima was leaving Konami. Him and his production company's names were being pulled from the Konami website and all the marketing materials for Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Despite Konami saying he was staying through the end of development of Metal Gear Solid 5, it was revealed that he was just a contractor now and no longer directly affiliated with Konami as a company. While Metal Gear Solid 5 was safe, Kojima's name was pulled from the Silent Hills website around this time. Concerns grew even more when Konami announced that on April 29, 2015, they were going to remove PT from the PlayStation Store. On April 25th, 2015, Guillermo del Toro was questioned about his collaboration with Kojima on the upcoming Silent Hills, to which he dropped the bombshell, quote, "It is not gonna happen." He was referring to the partnership with Kojima, so there was still this slight hope that Silent Hills could happen, but I think a lot of people didn't want the game if they didn't have Kojima. That was a big selling point. Perhaps due to Del Toro's comment, Konami officially took Silent Hills out to pasture 2 days later on April 27, 2015. They released the following statement, quote, "Konami is committed to new Silent Hill titles. However, the embryonic Silent Hills project developed with Guillermo del Toro and featuring the likeness of Norman Reedus will not be continued." This is obviously laughable, now, considering that they wouldn't announce any new Silent Hill titles for 7 years. And also note that they mentioned Guillermo del Toro and Norman Reedus by name, but did not mention Hideo Kojima at all, even though that was the main selling point. Toro further broke fans' hearts when he later revealed that beloved artist Junji Ito was slated as a collaborator for Silent Hill. So he was just really rubbing salt in the wound. I love you, Guillermo. I'm not shading you, but you could have kept that, maybe. Kept that to yourself. And then bafflingly, PT was now only available to play if you were lucky enough to have a PlayStation 4 that still had it active on your machine. If you had downloaded it from the store and removed it, but it was still in your library, you couldn't re-download it. This has led to insane eBay listings selling PT-enabled PS4s for still hundreds and hundreds of dollars to this day. It is very, don't delete Flappy Bird off your phone. It's that. It's the survival horror version of that. Kojima has since moved on, working independently with Kojima Studios for his Death Stranding series, and Norman Reedus followed him there. He is the lead within that series, and fans of Silent Hill and Metal Gear Solid have been left in a lurch, as always, due to Konami shitting the bed. It's nothing new. They have consistently done this with Silent Hill and now Metal Gear as well. I mean, Metal Gear has zero chance moving forward. Silent Hill, they're trying. I don't know what's gonna happen though. If you haven't had the pleasure to play or watch a playthrough, you're probably wondering why do we care so much? Why does it matter so? The short answer is that it is a borderline perfect horror experience. Yeah, of course, when it's short, there's less room to f it up, I will say. So I give it that. Maybe Silent Hills wouldn't have been as good as PT. I think it would have probably though. Gameplay, painfully simple. You are a man walking through a looping house consisting literally of a hallway, a bathroom, and then a door that regenerates the loop. The decor will shift around you as you continue the loop, and there's a radio that delivers a plotted information about a wave of family killings done by fathers, which opens up that there would have been a clear theme of family annihilation within Silent Hills. This is further explored when you stumble upon a fetus-like creature in the bathroom. Gross, hate it. As someone who had a tumor removed from my ovary the size of a full-grown child, revisiting this made me upset. The loop ends with a voiceover from a character that I'm just gonna let play. It's better than me explaining it. Bam.
Dad was such a drag. Every day he'd eat the same kind of food, dress the same, sit in front of the same kind of games. Yeah, he was just that kind of guy. But then one day he goes and kills us all. He couldn't even be original about the way he did it. I'm not complaining. I was dying of boredom anyway. But guess what? I will be coming back, and I'm bringing my new toys with me.
This further integrates the concept of the family killings and family annihilation as a theme, which I think is very Silent Hill. And because I was not able to play it myself, I called up one of my lovely friends, Nick, who was there, boots on the ground, played it when it was out. So I just wanted to have a little chat with him about what he thought of it at the time and just the impact that it has had on the gaming community and what it felt like to play it at the time and, you know, the hope of Silent Hills. So everyone, say hello to Nick.
Can I do a disclaimer to all the gamers out there?
Yes, please.
Disclaimer for gamers coming from me in chat. I do not know Silent Hill. I barely know Metal Gear. I kind of know Resident Evil. I very much know Kingdom Hearts, so that's the perspective with which I'm speaking today. Thank you.
Listen. Everyone knows I'm not like a real gamer girl. I just like the discourse, and I like Silent Hill as a concept. I criticize the gameplay consistently because it sucks. And I like the hot men.
They're good.
That's what I got for gaming. That's where I'm at. That's where we're at. Hello, Nick. So nice to see you.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming on to talk video games with little old Glitch Witch here.
I'll talk video games with Glitch Witch. That's what I want to do.
Oh my goodness. So Nick is a dear friend of mine. We've known each other for like four years now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's crazy. And Nick is one of my patented gamer friends. We share a lot of similar video game interests. Kingdom Hearts, Resident Evil. Recently, I have delved into Metal Gear Solid.
Oh boy. I've been replaying alongside you, and it's just that Kojima.
That Kojima, and is that not why we're here today? So, on the subject of Mr. Kojima and good old playable teaser, the greatest name for a game ever, obviously. What was your experience when playable teaser came? I like saying fully playable teaser because I think it's so dumb.
Of course, it's not like E.T. where it invites mystery and intrigue.
No.
No, it's playable teaser officially. Yeah. It was like it comes out in like 2014. I'm very ready for Metal Gear Solid 5 to come out. I can't remember how close it comes out to Ground Zeroes, essentially, but there was a lot of there was a lot of news about a Silent Hill project being in the works for years. And then I just remember I was with a friend and they were just talking about this demo that's on the PS4. That's the scariest thing anyone's ever played. And I'm like, I'm going to stay away from that. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to engage in that. I never played Amnesia Dark Descent, which was popular around the time. Stuff like that. I'm like, I'm good. I'm real good. And then I had a summer where I bought a PSVR. And I sold it within 3 months after buying the PSVR. But I bought it, and one night, friends and I just got together, and we decided it'd be a good idea to play the PT VR version on PSVR, which is a full 2014-2015 headset, earphones experience, and it was absolutely terrifying. We beat the game. I screamed a lot because it was surround sound around my ears. And it's a very spooky, scary game. Playable teaser.
Yeah, that's the thing is I watched it originally. I'd never played it, and that was one of the reasons that I wanted to have you featured in this video because you're the only person I personally know that has played it, and I know these bitches are gonna come for me because I haven't played it, despite. To be a Silent Hill fan is to have not played half of the games because they're inaccessible. But still, I wanted to cover my bases because I know someone's still gonna say something. But I watched the walkthrough of it back in the day when I wasn't even a gamer yet. Like, I mean, I had played Kingdom Hearts when I was younger, and then I was like, I'm not a gamer girl. I like movies. So of course I was intrigued by PT because of Guillermo del Toro was involved in it. And like, I hadn't watched it again until just when I started making this video. And I had it not even full screen, watching survival horror networks like walk through, and I was almost shitting my pants. So the fact that you went in with no like prior knowledge other than it's the scariest game ever made in VR is crazy to me. Like, you were in there. That little baby thing was just right up in your face.
Someone went in and because so like yes, is the baby entity. There's also like the ghost entity Lisa in the game. And I found this on Reddit years ago. Someone went in, they hacked the game so they could find out why does it sound like she's right behind you, and it's because she's coded in the game to be physically standing right behind you, behind your neck.
I hate that, but I love it.
I don't like to this day. I really don't like L-shaped hallways. I don't like adjacent doors with babies on the other end. That's not for me. Or shaking refrigerators.
Yes. No. We don't want to see. That's the lasting impact of playable teasers to this day. You will not catch Nick in an L-shaped corridor.
I'm not gonna go there. No, I'm unfamiliar if PT was one of like the first ones, but there's a whole type of like hallway regenerative hallway genre of like, not necessarily, maybe horror, maybe survival horror, maybe just like weirdness where you have to spot what's different in the hallway or you turn around. I see it like there's like a TikTok guy that does that game a lot and trying to beat it as fast as possible, stuff like that. I'm not sure if this went into that, but you can also tell like a lot of this stuff went into Death Stranding.
Yes.
Not just Norman Reedus of it all, but a lot of these vibes. Because like this was the straw that broke the camel's back, I believe. This with Metal Gear Solid 5's development that made him just want to peace out.
Yeah, from what I found out, like, it was also that Konami was getting a little jealous that he was the golden child. And to me, like, from a business standpoint, I think that's crazy. Like, I think every corporation wants, like, some guy that can just keep churning money out for them. Yeah. It's just so crazy to me. Like, I absolutely get why he left, because he was just blatantly being disrespected. But at the same time, like, how could they treat him like that?
They're getting jealous that Metal Gear games are known as Kojima games and not Konami games. Then they have to greenlight a lot of stuff going on in Metal Gear Solid 5, and you've played enough Metal Gear Solid 5 by now to know that he does something that's kind of revolutionary for game design, where each chapter has credits of who the game designers were, who directed it, who scored it, things like that, ahead of each individual chapter within the game. And so if I'm a bigwig at Konami, and I already have a chip on my shoulder that Kojima's running the table, and then I'm playing levels 1 through 3 of Metal Gear Solid 5, and I see Kojima's name on the screen 43 times, yes. I'm going to want to cancel his chance at reviving Silent Hill, the other thing Konami has.
Which is so funny, because both of these properties that are their big properties are like auteur, like cinematic, like Team Silent is the reason that Silent Hill was so good. That team, and then they come over, and a lot of people don't like the Silent Hill games that Team Silent didn't work on. I do, but it doesn't take a lot to impress me. Everyone watching knows that at this point. But and I'm correct that you are not a Silent Hill like hard. Yeah. And that's my other thing, is that I think Silent Hills could have expanded the Silent Hill fan base in such a huge way, because you had all these different really big creators from different realms coming together, and I think it could have made Silent Hill bigger than it ever was. And it already was huge in the early 2000s, but I think it could have completely changed the game, and they could have been just like how Resident Evil is now. But that's not going to happen with this, because currently There's a Silent Hill 2 remake coming. There is, which allegedly is supposed to that and the Snake Eater remake are supposed to come out in the same year, which is bullshit. That's not happening. There's no way. I don't believe them. They say Snake Eater is coming out this year. That's not going to happen. I still don't believe that Silent Hill 2 remake is coming out this year. But
there's just going to be a patch for the pachinko machine. Like, that's not coming out this year.
Both of these franchises have pachinko machines. They're putting out, because Silent Hill notoriously also has a pachinko machine. That's like the only thing that came out for a decade was a pachinko machine. So it's just, it's wild. But they also have 2 mainline games. Well, okay, 2 original games. One is a mainline game that's going to be set in Silent Hill, and then the other is a 1960s, it's set with like Hiroshima.
Okay.
Which I don't know.
Do these have titles?
Yes. Forte is the name of the Japanese one, the one set in Hiroshima in the 60s. Yeah. And then Townfall is the mainline one that's set in Silent Hill, wherever that may be, allegedly Maine.
I recall being like when you finish PT and they show that little teaser at the end of Norma's reading this on the street. And I was really into a YouTube channel at the time, Rev3 Games, which a lot of their people moved on to work for Disney Plus and IGN. And then they were also working for Destructoid at the time, the people I was watching. And there was a lot, I really like their take of just like, it's the cleanest name for like a legacy sequel or reboot, whatever you want to call it. Silent Hills is just, there's more, and it's another town, and it's just
no. And that's a great point, because that's what you run into is the according to Silent Hill fans, the games are Silent Hill 1 through 4, and some people don't like 4. That's the one I really like. That's what I named the cats after. But those are all the Team Silent games. After that, Silent Hill Homecoming, Silent Hill Downpour, Silent Hill Origins. And then Silent Hill Townfall, Silent Hill Forte, Silent Hill The Short Message. There was a streamed game that I think is still going on where it's like a choose your own adventure, like people live react in the chat what's going to happen, called Silent Hill Ascension, that has bombed notoriously. You could unlock a sticker in the stream that says it's trauma. That's where we're at with Konami right now, they're selling its trauma like mugs and t-shirts. It's just sad, because I think if PT and Silent Hills would have happened, we maybe would have just had Silent Hills 2 by now, or Silent Hills 3 by now. But here we are. I just don't think that these games will have I don't know that they will bring in as many new fans as something like Silent Hills would have, because I think a lot of people would have just come along for the ride because of Kojima. Like, I assume someone like you.
PT because Kojima was involved. I would have played Silent Hills because I have an in to this franchise that I previously missed out on. I know a Pyramid Head from middle school, but I will now win because the weird guy is doing the thing again. And it felt more grounded a little bit. I want to say.
Yeah, no, and I think that's the thing that I love about Metal Gear that I didn't expect from it. Just because from the outside, Metal Gear is one of those franchises, very similar to Resident Evil, I would say, where I had no clue what it was actually about till I started playing them. I was like, what? Like with Resident Evil, you're like anime cops and zombies, but also there's a tall vampire lady and I don't know what's happening. But then you get into it and you get it. And same with Metal Gear. I was like, I don't know. I think there's robots. Like I didn't expect like James Bond Vietnam era espionage with characters.
A lot of tactical espionage and nuclear disarmament.
And he's so good at those characters and those stories. And Silent Hill is like ripe for just character study. But I don't think that's gonna happen with these new games, unfortunately. And I think he could have done that. So I mean, it's fine. We'll get 8 more Death Strandings probably, and Metal Gear and Silent Hill will be left in the dirt.
PT is very scary. It's so. I remember I had to take off the headset and walk away quite a few times. Just the little jump scare, because like the controls in the game are moving and zooming in.
Yeah, that's it.
And what am I gonna zoom in on but the noises coming from the ajar door in the corner? And I look in and it's gonna get me. Inagami.
What was your, and I feel like maybe your, of the Kojima Konami leaving timeline, you may have been more in tune emotionally with Metal Gear 5, but how did you feel when you heard that like Silent Hills was canceled, and I guess that, you know, Metal Gear Solid 5 just didn't get an ending because they kicked him out?
So when I heard about everything, it felt like a door closing. Like, okay, well, I was gonna get into this franchise, and now I don't really want to get into the Silent Hill games. I'm definitely gonna like put my heart and soul into Metal Gear Solid 5, even though like there was even stuff about them trying to take his name off the box.
Yep.
And stuff like that. And so like I was like, I'm just gonna really try to play this game because this is like an artist's last vision of not just a singular game, but also like a multi-decade franchise that he will not be able to return to at this point.
It gets just sad, doesn't it? Like, I've spent
Very
the past
sad.
5 years getting into Silent Hill and being like, it's okay that they canceled that. We're not gonna get it, so I'm not gonna think about it. And now, I'm never gonna stop thinking about it. Just wanted the perspective of someone who played it. I didn't realize you played it in VR, so that's even extra spicy.
Buddy, it wasn't good. It was a very good VR experience, but that Lisa was behind my ears. She was, and you hear breathing, and then you're holding like the weird motion controllers for the first VR with the lighted illuminated circles on, and that's vibrating in your hands when the door's shaking. It was scary.
Ugh. Well, thank you so much, Nick, for coming on and talking. You're the first guest in the history of glitchwitch.jpg.
Learn about the adventures of Pete and Pete. There's a podcast called Moody's Pod. And me and my friend Aaron Rose O'Brien and we talked about the adventures of Pete and Pete on the most recent mini-series. Check it out.
Hell yeah, I can corroborate that it rocks. It's good. And we love Aaron. We love Aaron on glitchwitch.jpg. So yes, thank you so much. Thank you for all the Revolver Ocelot memes you've been sending me and fan cams. I cherish you and our friendship.
I cherish you too. Thanks, babe.
Some of the distinct things about PT include the first-person point of view and the inability to fight off the only antagonist, which is a ghost named Lisa. Typically in Silent Hill, you're seeing your character and also you can fight back. Despite these deviations from the standard Silent Hill convention, parallels were immediately drawn between PT and Silent Hill 4 because Silent Hill 4 also contains POV sections, but it's only when Henry is in his apartment. It's not the entire game, it's just little segments. I think the thing that's most genius about PT is that I think it blends what I call the two Silent Hills. I divide the Silent Hill games into two main plot types: cult or personal traumas. All of the games, save for 2 and Downpour, deal with the Order, the cult in question, in some capacity, but I would mark 1 and 3 as the main Order games. They follow the story of Heather and Harry and all that. 4 and Homecoming kind of blend the two. With 4, you have Walter Sullivan, who has kind of left the Order to do its bidding on his own for his own purposes, and then Homecoming replaces the Order with like an offshoot religion that I refer to as like Protestantism to the Order's Catholicism. You know, with PT, there's an allusion to these fathers who kill their families being found in a trance-like state, like chanting numbers. So I think that gave room for it to be a blend of the trauma thing that Silent Hill is so about these days because of Silent Hill 2, and the cult. I think there was room for the cult. So I think that's genius. I spoke about it briefly in my short message video, but my main fear with the new wave of Silent Hill games is that they're all but going to abandon the cult concept in favor of the personal traumas and tragedies, simply because Silent Hill 2 is the game everyone thinks about now, and that's what made Silent Hill 2 so revolutionary. But if you keep doing it over and over again, it's not going to have the same impact that it had when it was new. I think the perfect Silent Hill game should blend these concepts, and that's why 4 is my favorite, because I think it blends them the best. Yes, it's rough around the edges. Yes, there are things that can be improved upon, but at the end of the day, that's why I love 4 so much. One thing that I think is interesting is there are elements in the most recent Silent Hill release, The Short Message, that are pulled right from PT that I had forgotten about because I hadn't watched PT in so long. There's the looping apartment shows up in one section of the short message. It's not the whole mechanic, but it is a decent important part in like the third act. The like low frame rate eyes on the wall, which is just an aesthetic thing, but still. And then even like the dead kid in the fridge, like they're clearly different plot devices, but that appears as well. I don't know what the point was with this. I guess they were just like, oh, these are good ideas, let's bring them into this. Or it was like their attempt to be like cute and reference, which is just spitting in the face of fans. Like, oh, here's a thing to remind you of that thing you really, really wanted that would have been really good. We're gonna put it in this short free-to-play game that we didn't even bother to announce alongside the rest of the titles we're gonna give you. I don't understand them. I don't understand them. See, I'm not a Konami show. I hate them. I think that Konami is clearly trying to keep up with their competitor Capcom and Resident Evil because they've seen how well those, you know, remakes and new entries are, so they're just trying to duplicate that but not putting the effort in. And they need to realize that if they don't put the effort in, they're not just gonna make all the money that Capcom's making with Resident Evil. It's like the games are actually good. That's why people are buying them. And I don't get why they don't want money. Like, we'll give you money if you give us something good. It's not that crazy. I think that Konami is clearly trying to do this because they're doing the Silent Hill 2 remake and multiple new mainline Silent Hill games. And this is even spreading out to Metal Gear because they're remaking Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, which remaking Silent Hill 2 first and remaking Metal Gear Solid 3 first is like mind-boggling to me. That would have been like if Capcom remade Resident Evil 4 first. Like, don't start with your big, legendary, iconic game. Maybe like, you know, for Silent Hill, start with one that's like literally inaccessible. I'm getting angry. It's okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I think they're trying to appease fans, but they clearly don't actually give a shit. And between their just inability of taking care of Silent Hill in a way that it deserves, and the way that they treated Kojima and had the weird falling out, because there seems to have been some sort of, they were jealous that he was such a big name and they didn't want that to mess with them, which it's like, you just look like a dick because of that. I don't think that either group of fans are going to be happy with Konami, even if these games are good. Like, even if the Silent Hill 2 remake is really good, which I am hopeful of, I'm still gonna be like, you Konami, like, yeah, they're gonna get my $80, but like, I have no faith in them. They have to work really hard to gain my trust back. Beyond its innovation and dedication to the Silent Hill franchise, this trailer had a mark on survival horror on the whole. You have seen countless games inspired by like the tone and visual aesthetic of PT, which I think is really a testament to Kojima's ability as a game director. Like, he is such an influential game maker. You know, there's so many things in the Metal Gear series that were unheard of until he did it. Like, he truly is a trailblazer, and I think having him involved in a series that I think is so special and integral to the history of not only survival horror but gaming on the whole would have just been so special. Like, it makes sense. I get why he wanted to do it, and on paper it would have made Konami so much money. I don't understand. Okay. So now, what does little Glitch Witch think all this? I mean, you kind of know because I've been bitching for 20 minutes. I do want to give my unsolicited opinion. You clicked on my video. It's my video essay. I can do what I want. Before I even got into Silent Hill, I was really sad that Silent Hills was canceled, mainly because I was excited about the idea of big filmmakers starting to direct games, like Guillermo del Toro. And once I got into Silent Hill, I just kind of put my blinders on and like pretended that PT never happened, because like I didn't want to get upset about it. And, you know, I didn't know Kojima as a game maker. Like, I was not familiar with his work. I've still not played Death Stranding. I really would like to now, but like getting into Metal Gear has really made me heartbroken about this, because I get it now. I really personally get it now. I've become very engrossed in like the drama of modern Silent Hill and like the direction that Konami's taking it and then just really truly fallen head over heels with the way that Kojima makes games, so I'm heartbroken. Like, making this video is making me sad that they took this away from us. I know it took me a decade to get, like, effectively sad about it, but here I am. The thing that I have fallen so in love with about Metal Gear as a series is the characters and the stories. Kojima and his team put so much effort into making them feel like real people who you care about, and they're still goofy and weird the way that I like my video game characters, but I have never ever cared about video game characters like this. You don't have to reach for more. It's just given to you, which is so refreshing, because, you know, you look at other things like Silent Hill 4, for example. Like, I have read a lot into Walter Sullivan because they didn't give me that much. So I have created so many headcanons. With Metal Gear characters, you don't have to create headcanons. They're just fully fleshed out. And the thought of that in a Silent Hill game, oh, it would be so good. Also, think that he handles major subjects in these games like war, PTSD, medical trauma, with such a nuance and an intentionality that would carry over to a series like Silent Hill so well. And Silent Hill has never not handled its material well. Team Silent was incredible at that. That's one of the reasons why the first 4 Silent Hill games are so successful, because they do handle heavy topics with a sincerity and a nuance that, you know, I think maybe is missing from the later games a little bit. So I just think that's why this pairing of Kojima and Del Toro, who also has handled very heavy subject matters within his films, it made fans and myself, even a decade later, it would make me feel safe handing over this franchise to these people. They would treat it with respect and with reverence. And don't get me wrong, there are elements of PT that I'm not crazy about. I won't lie to you. I hate first person. I don't know if the whole game would have been first person. Part of me thinks it probably wouldn't have been. I think that was just because it's maximum scares, and I get that. It is scarier when it's first person. It personally makes me nauseous. Like, I couldn't even watch my husband play Resident Evil 7 at first because it made me so sick. Like, I do not like it. So, and that, again, I do think that was probably just for PT to make it scarier. My other thing, and I don't know, this is just a nitpick. I don't love the whole celebrities in video games thing, especially with a franchise like Silent Hill. I'm not thrilled at the thought of famous Hollywood actor Norman Reedus being the, you know, bland everyman Silent Hill main character. Just some guy. It's just some guy. And I think it would have distracted. So I'm not mad about that. Have not played Death Stranding. I don't have an issue with something like that where Kojima clearly just wants to make a movie. And I know they're making a Death Stranding movie with A24. Let that man direct that movie, please. Please let him direct it. I like the idea of casting actors for like this new project and treating it like a movie almost. I think that's really cool. But when you bring famous celebrities into existing franchises, even when they're kind of one-offs the way that Silent Hill is, it's weird to me. Like, for example, Metal Gear Solid 5, Kiefer Sutherland is the voice of Big Boss, and I just don't, it's weird. Like, I want David Hayter, the voice of Solid Snake and Big Boss, to be Big Boss. Like, we didn't need Kiefer Sutherland. He's fine, but we didn't need him. Just like, we didn't need Norman Reedus. Those are really my only 2 complaints, which are really minor, and I still would have played the shit out of Silent Hills even if Norman Reedus was in it and it was first person, so really, they're not actual gripes. As I've said in previous videos, I am hopeful for the Silent Hill 2 remake and these new games. I am, because I sleep better at night being hopeful. The way that my brain works, I don't want to be negative about it. I just don't. We don't know yet. And I'm very excited by the things we have seen. I made a whole video about it. You can go watch it. You can go watch it and comment that I'm a dumb bitch, or that my hands are pretty, because those are the only 2 comments that seem to trail through my Silent Hill videos. I will say, even though I'm excited about them, there is an unfair bias going in to know that we almost got Silent Hills. And that's something that Konami is never going to be able to get rid of. Even if these games are great, everyone in the back of their head is still always going to say, remember that time we almost got a Hideo Kojima, Guillermo del Toro, Junji Ito Silent Hill game starring Norman Reedus. Like, that sounds like a fake sentence. / sounds like something you would never cancel because it would have made a shit ton of money. And I also think it could have gotten a lot of people into the series, people who were fans of Kojima or Del Toro, like Nick and I. We were not the target demographic when the game came out, but look at me now. And look at other people who maybe would have gotten head over heels for Silent Hill when it wasn't a series they were familiar with. So it just sucks. And I know a lot of Silent Hill fans don't like new fans coming in, which is stupid. Why do you want your thing to just die? No, the youth need to keep it going. And I know I am young compared to some Silent Hill fans, but there are younger Silent Hill fans than me. I'm a nice median, I think. Let me know what do you think about PT? Were you able to play it? Are you like me, where you weren't able to? Are you excited about the new games? Which of the new games are you most excited about? And is there anything else you would like me to talk about? You know, again, I don't do survival horror all the time, / Silent Hill at this point, or Silent Hill. I am thinking about making a horror-coded Metal Gear video. We'll see. We'll see what happens. That would be deviating from my normal content a little bit because those are not horror games, but there are elements that could be considered horror. So I'm thinking about it. But if there's anything you would like me to talk about, please comment below. This is my first time actually making a video based on a commenter's request, so thank you again to @JealousGirl. I hope that this video did PT justice. I know you said it's your favorite game. I get why. I wish you had a full game to be your favorite game. I wish that they made Silent Hills so you could say Silent Hills is your favorite game and not playable teaser. I'm sorry. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to Nick for sitting down and chit-chatting with me about PT and Kojima and all that good stuff. And I will see you again soon. Goodbye.